This is the Lissmac Sbm L G1S2. So why would you use this machine? This machine is used to eliminate bottlenecks in a manual deburring process. It's used to make the deburring process faster. It makes the deburring process more economically efficient, and it creates a consistency from first to last part and from job to job, regardless of the operator, the shift, or the time of day. This is our most popular machine because this machine matches up very nicely with laser cut parts, whether it's CO2 or fiber laser, punched parts, and water jet cut parts. And it matches up nicely with customers who are using multiple lasers, punching, or cutting processes. The SBM refers to steel brushing machine. The L refers to large. The G1 means we have one grinding unit on the top and one grinding unit on the bottom. The S2 means that we have two edge rounding units on the top and two edge rounding units on the bottom. The 1500 refers to the working width. It's 1500 millimeters or 59 inches wide. This machine is also available in a 2000 millimeter or 79 inch wide version. This is a top and bottom process in a single pass. The tools are selectable, so you can turn off the tools you want, turn off the tools that you don't want to achieve your given result. You can turn the bottom off, leave the top on, turn the top off, leave the bottom on. This machine is designed to run multiple types of material. You can run your aluminum, you can run your stainless, you can run your carbon, or other types of material that may be relevant to you. The idea behind this machine is to take laser cut parts, punched parts, or water jet cut parts, deburr them completely, and create the Lissmac Edge. That's a rounded edge that's safe to handle, that's ready for paint or powder coat, and is consistent from left to right, front to back. An example of that would be a part that was cut on a laser that leaves a high burr, maybe some spatter on the surface of the part, and some burrs on the internal cutout of the part. This is an example of a stainless steel part cut on a fiber laser. The result that we achieved here is a smooth, rounded edge on all of the perimeter edges and all of the internal cutouts. You can see examples of different shapes and contours that are typically a challenge for shops cutting with lasers, water jets, or punching. This is safe to handle, it's smooth, it's ready for paint, powder coat, or the next step in your manufacturing process. This is also present on the bottom side of the part, which we achieved in a single pass. Your results could vary from very light deburring to even more edge rounding than we have represented here. We can also take a pre-finished and coated with laser paper part and deburr it without removing the laser film. In practice, what we see is a sheet on a laser table, film up, burr down after it's cut. Now you might say, why would you want to deburr both sides of that? There are customers that need to have a rounded, safe edge on both the bottom and the top. With this machine, you have the ability to match your edge on what would traditionally be the burr non-coated side to an edge on the non-burr coated side. An example of a finished part looks like this. You now have a rounded edge here, your paper intact, meaning your pre-finished look is intact, and you also have the Lissmac Edge on the bottom of the part, achieved in a single pass. The Lissmac L G1S2 is our most popular machine. Here's a glimpse into why. We have a grinding belt here, and we have edge rounding blocks behind the grinding belt. Single unit on top, single unit on bottom for grinding, 2 rows of edge rounding blocks on the top, 2 rows of edge rounding blocks on the bottom for edge rounding. If you're cutting with a fiber laser, for instance, you might have a hard edge, you might have a micro burr, you might have an edge that needs to be cut with a coated abrasive belt in order to prepare it for the next step of final deburr and edge round. The grinding belt removes that hard edge, micro burr or spatter, and now moves to the edge rounding blocks for edge rounding. These blocks are in a cross belt configuration, as with the grinding belt, so you can put your part on any section of this in-feed table and have even wear of your abrasives from left to right, regardless of your volume or placement. What you see here on the top is also represented exactly the same way on the bottom. When you want to change abrasives, it's an easy process of pulling this front unit out that contains the grinding belt, and now you have access to your edge rounding blocks. The edge rounding blocks have an auto wear compensation feature. You can see here we have a photo eye. It's monitoring the length of the abrasive on the blocks and making continuous corrections as needed so that you can maintain the result that you want to achieve or the result that you've dialed in without having to turn the machine off, access the inside, and manually make adjustments to your fully adjustable tools. The edge rounding blocks are individual blocks that are attached to a power belt by a single bolt for each block. That makes up our S block assembly. The key here is you can take the full assembly, blocks and belt off, change that offline so that you can put another complete set in the machine and run while the other blocks are being replaced. From this view, looking down slightly from our S blocks, you can see we have an in-feed segment of our table at the front of the machine. This is where the parts enter the machine and start the process of edge rounding and deburring. The parts are then picked up by our feed rollers, and then they are picked up by our outfeed segment of the table. The minimum part size for this machine is 6 inches long by 2 inches wide, which gives you a wide array of parts from 6 inches long by 2 inches wide to the full width of the in-feed table. Now let's go around and take a look at the back of the machine. At the back of the Lissmac Sbm L G1S2, we have the outfeed segment of the table. We have the connection point for an outfeed motorized extension table. This connection point comes standard with this machine. We also have the connection point for your wet or dry dust collector. There's an emergency stop button, easily accessible, and we have at the bottom right your electrical connection, and there's an air connection available under there as well. Now let's look into the inside of the back of the machine. With the door open at the back of the Sbm L G1S2, you can see the high quality construction and the high quality of the fit and finish of this machine. This is represented throughout the machine, front and back, left to right, top to bottom. This machine is designed for high volume use, for heavy use, and it is rated for multiple shift a day applications. The key features of the Lissmac L G1S2 include a large color touchscreen control. From the home page, you have access to all of your tools. You can turn them on and off with a simple touch, and you can select the positioning of the tools from the home page. From the home page, you can also adjust the in-feed speed, and you can set in your part thickness. You have other capabilities here, including monitoring your maintenance, monitoring your amps, and you can save programs. Moving down, we have our on and off switch, an emergency stop button. We also have an optional barcode scanner. You can connect here. The barcode scanner allows you to create your own barcodes to correspond with a job, maybe a repeatable job, so that you can access that saved program by scanning the code and having some of the machine parameters set automatically without manual interface. We also have the ability to connect to your machine remotely for any troubleshooting needs you might have. This machine is equipped with auto wear compensation. The advantage of that is less interface with the machine, more runtime. You don't have to go in and manually adjust your tools to maintain your consistent, repeatable result. We have a constant pass line height. You can attach an in-feed or out-feed extension table, change part thicknesses, and not have to change the height of your extension tables. Each machine comes standard with a connection point for motorized tables, front and back. Safety features include a bump bar that you can lean into to shut the machine off. We have a finger protection bar in the front. We have emergency stop buttons front and back. The highlight of the machine, of course, is that it is top and bottom. Your edge rounding and deburring in a single pass. Tools are fully selectable and fully adjustable. It's a high volume solution, provides a consistent result. It's an efficient way of deburring and edge rounding, gives you a wide range of deburr and edge round. Ultimately, you're creating the Lissmac Edge. That's an edge that's safe to handle, that's ready for paint or powder coat, and is consistent around the entire perimeter, the internal cutouts, left to right, front to back. If you're interested in learning more about this particular machine, about any of the other machines in the Lissmac product lineup, or if you're interested in learning how you can get the Lissmac Edge, feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to talk to you.